What does the XR on this DEWALT drill mean? For that matter, what does the word fuel on some Milwaukee tools mean? And why is there such a huge variety in cost for certain power tools? It's complicated, but it often comes down to how these tools are engineered. And the biggest difference is often brush tools versus brushless. Brushless tools are taking over the domestic market and their cost is much greater, but their efficiency is often worth the price. Today, I'm going to talk about brand upgrades like XR and Fuel, and whether you really need the superior technology that drives them. And that's coming up next on The Honest Carpenter Show. So brushless technology is not exactly new. It's been around for several decades and it only used to be seen in industrial machinery like conveyor belts. But now we're seeing it in our handheld power tools and it's causing some confusion. The general understanding is that brushless is better. And that's true. But why is it better? Really, it all comes down to longevity and power. Traditional brush tools rely on a rotary action, and to create this action, they use a brushed DC motor system. If you're careful, you can take apart most older tools and see this for yourself. My old Chicago electric drill comes apart when a series of screws are taken out and the drill head is removed. Here, the motor is instantly laid bare. Brush tools refer to the presence of these things, carbon brushes. I know they don't actually look like brushes. They just look like little metallic blocks. But these carbon blocks are what allow the motor to work. They're trapped in these cradles, and springs force them downwards into contact with the commutator, this slotted cylinder. When you squeeze the trigger on a brush tool, power flows through a wire into the brushes, which transfers the electrical current into the commutator. The commutator then sends this energy into these coiled copper wires, known as an armature, which instantly takes on an electromagnetic charge. The armature's EM field pushes against a ring of stationary magnets surrounding it. A group of positively and negatively charged magnets move the armature in a rotating pattern, causing it to spin. This spin turns the tool's rotor, which turns a spiral gear on the end. The rotation is then transferred to the drill head and ultimately to the bit or blade that it's holding. That's how brush tools work, and they're really quite good. Everything from drills to routers and saws have used some version of it for decades. But their weakness is in the brushes themselves. Over time, brushes wear down from their contact with the commutator. They shrink like a pencil eraser. When this happens, the tool begins losing power. It quickly overheats, and you can even get sparking at the brushes. Now, some sparking is to be expected in brush tools. But if you see it continuously through the cooling vents, or if you can smell burning metal, it means that the brushes are shot. Brushes can be replaced, and it's not that difficult to do. But no matter what, you always have that friction contact between brushes and commutators, which is just inefficient. Hence the development of the brushless motor. Brushless motors did away with the brushes and the commutators. Instead, bigger magnets are mounted directly to the rotor, and a larger armature surrounds these magnets. This armature has an attached circuit board, which acts as a little brain. It controls the charge of the armature, causing the magnets on the rotor to spin. This is a much more efficient system because nothing is in contact with anything else. There's no friction, no rubbing, no wear and tear. Also, because the brushes and commutator are gone, it means that the tool overall can shrink in size a little bit. But more space can be devoted to the armature and magnets, meaning that the tool actually gets stronger. And the little circuit board in the tool can even detect feedback from the rotor. So if you're boring something soft, the chip will tell it not to work as hard, thereby saving power. But if you're boring something dense, it'll pull more power from the battery as needed. Brushless motors are just all around smarter and more efficient. So they can deliver 20 to 30% more torque and speed. And they'll often last for tens of thousands of hours of usage. But of course you have to pay for this. And across the board, brushless tools are about 30% more expensive. And one of the real frustrations of this engineering surge is that it's kind of hard to tell what's what anymore. For instance, DEWALT XR stands for Extreme Runtime. On a tool, it means that the tool is brushless. But on a battery, it just means that the battery has higher amp hours and a larger fuel tank. So XR batteries can actually work with 20 volt max tools, which are not brushless. And Milwaukee tools can be really confusing. Some of the M18 tools are brushless and some aren't. And all of their fuel tools are brushless, but they also have POWERSTATE technology, which means that they're super effective brushless and therefore cost significantly more than normal brushless. And Makita, as far as I can tell, doesn't have any sort of dedicated brushless series. It seems that their LXT series all simply share great lithium-ion batteries. But you need to determine whether individual tools in the brand are brushed or brushless. Really, you're always better off doing this research on a case-by-case basis. If you want a brushless tool, make sure that whatever you're looking at is or isn't brushless. Then find out what battery line is necessary to run it. And in the end, the big question is, do you really need brushless tools? It depends. Pros can always benefit from the longer battery life and max efficiency of brushless. And many pros prefer Milwaukee for this, especially electricians and plumbers. But DEWALT and Makita are also fantastic lines. And if you're a devoted DIYer who uses your tools every week, then you'll probably be glad you invested in their brushless tools. But brush tools got us by for decades, and they still remain a really great option for casual use. Just be sure to watch out for the signs that your brushes are starting to fade. What did you think of this video? Was this explanation helpful? Do you have an opinion on brushless tools? Let me hear about it down below, especially from you pros out there. I'm going to link both brushless and brush tools down below in the description. Feel free to shop those links, and remember that when you do, we receive a tiny commission from whatever you buy at no extra charge to you. As always, thanks for watching. Be sure to check back in for more videos coming up soon, and please consider subscribing and hitting that little bell button to turn on notifications. That way you'll know the moment we post something. I'm Ethan James with TheHonestCarpenter.com. I'll see you next time.